All right. Well, typically, I think we were going to do any sort of trades or any videos unless we did a trade. But I think it's important right now. We iron out some details going forward. Some strategy. I've been thinking about strategy and how things have changed and how it's actually changed what seemingly for the worst. Um, so essentially, what I was thinking is like maybe we iron out some some goals here, or not some goals. Well, obviously, we have goals, right? But maybe we iron out some strategy rules. So, you know, obviously, okay. So I think depending on what type of trading we're doing here, and we have like a multifaceted trade idea here, and I think this is where we're going wrong. But I think we're gonna try it still. We're still gonna try this. But typically, what I was doing before is I was trading along the trend, right? So I would take trades since this is going south. I would take trades that were only on the negative, right? And then what I found out that year, although it was super positive all the time and always taking wins, like in the 90 percentiles, that we were struggling on being able to trade every day. See, this is the day chart. So 1, 2, 3 days of trading were not possibly within here. I would have probably lost an entire week of trading right there. You know what I mean? And then we have some trades that we would only take, and we're only taking small profit because we're still only I don't know what you call it. It's been a rough, long day, long week, long month, long 2 months. It's been a long life the last little bit of time, last year or so. So, anyways, so let's just say here in the past, what are we on the ninth? So let's just go back to the ninth. All right. As you can see, I might not even have taken all these trades, right? So in a month, I probably would have had a few trades. Maybe one here, maybe two. If I was super diligent, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean? Like maybe half of the time, probably would have lost a good, 10% of those, or even 15. And that's how that week would be going, right? Or this month would be going. Now, that would be perfect scenarios. So I think what we got to do is say, hey, let's just break this down. If I want to trade the same way that I would like to trade, I think we're going to look at overall trend first. And say, hey, our overall trend. So if I'm going to take a long swing trade or a trade that I end up saying is one that I'm going to keep. Just put it that way, right? We're gonna let the trade run out. If that is on the overall trend, we let it run out. Especially, okay, listen, if it's on the overall trend and we happen to catch the reversal. Okay, like for instance here, I think we are still going to be in a downward trend. Now we could be pulling one of these. We might even have a triple top. Well, let's just say that we are on this downward trend, right? Let me just throw this out here. I am still learning. This is by no means financial advice. If you do take my trades, you will probably lose. I have not been doing good. And if you follow mine, you will probably not do good either. So we're going to iron out these trades real quick. So that's what I think I'm going to do. What I think I'm going to do is, for the most part, I'm going to say, hey, we're trading along the trend. Now, if we think that we are in this upward trend, that, you know, possibly might be a reversal, not a reversal. If we think we're going to accumulate, we are, man, I can't think of the term right now. You know what I mean. We're going to accumulate here. We're going to bounce off resistance here, blah, blah, blah. If we think that that's going to happen, we are going to take only trades, which we're in this point. So right now we are only going to take, since we're hitting the zone, we are only going to take sell trades. Now, just because we are so close to a possible hitting of resistance here and then continuing on downward. So that, I think that's the way we're going to look at, like, where are we in this type of trade? We have to kind of determine that. I think I'm going to struggle in areas like this where we start trading sideways because we don't know. These are areas that we could take some losses. For instance, right, that's a possibility. So if we're gonna overly complicate some of these things, I think, and then we're gonna kind of say, like, hey, if we're in these zones, we are already breaking down. Continue to trade along the trend. Okay. Only take sells. Now, if we are in here and we think we are going to have, like, we have 3 days here, we have some sideways action here. Sideways action, I think what we'll do is continue along, trading along the trend, only taking sells until we start seeing, and this is again an area that's going to be very risky trades. Sideways action here if we don't think we really have a direction or a thought in the direction it's going. This to me is a very resistant area, so I would assume that we are probably okay. So, and here's the point where we possibly go in for buys here. Now, let's just say that this is an area we think is a high level of resistance, and we might even break up to that. It is a good possibility. And now, if we see all the indications that we might jump into that area, then we would probably go ahead and say, hey, what do we think is going to happen over the next day? What does that look like? I think that is something that we will need to determine. Like, do we think we are going to head into, like, double bottom? We have some indication there that this is an area that we might pump up into the 60,000 range. Do we have any supporting evidence for that? We have very little supporting evidence for that, so we probably aren't going to take those trades. We probably are going to miss these next few days. That is a high likelihood. This is the way we're going to approach these trades. Although I do like this trade, so it's I might wait for some confirmation that that's what we're going to do. If that makes sense. There's not a lot of high liquidity above that, or liquidation orders up there. And that's what makes me concerned about it. However, this would be an opportunity. This is where my thought processes are for this. Is that there's an opportunity here for them to go ahead and create more liquidation orders down here for those buys, those longs, bounce off resistance here, because that is a very high resistant zone. As you can see, I had this in here from earlier. This did bounce in the area sideways, whereas you could see for quite some time it just traveled along the trend there. And I think that's why we're bouncing back up into the zone, because this is a high area of resistance. And we did take this double bottom. We did just break above the cusp up into that. So I think there is some reference to that, but as you can see here, we don't have a whole lot of liquidation orders up here, but we could take those out. That is not above the that is the heat map. As you can see, we do have most of it down in here, but I'm curious to see how this kind of unfolds over the next few days. And let's just say we have more shorts than long. Blah, 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 blah. So that's just something that we are going to kind of take a look at. But for the most part, I think in the case of scalping, which is most of our trading, we're going to take a look and we're going to say, hey, we're just going to go ahead and say, hey, let's look at the 1 day, and we will try and determine when this day starts, when this day ends. So interestingly enough, oh, this is our day, but this is when the thing considers. I don't even remember having these on here. That's cool though. I like this one. Forgot about this. And then we're going to say like, hey, if we think the next few days is one of these retracements, we will take longs for the next day or two. But just remember, we have to watch where these are going, because I don't want to miss days of trading just because of that. So let's just say we did have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we might have, again, I think there's a strong possibility that we are going to punch up into here on a 7th day. That is the iffy. And we can close here, we can open here, and then so that is something that we definitely have to pay attention to. And we're going to kind of monitor the other stuff, the book maps, tutorials. Okay, are you going to work or not work? Okay. Oh, I think we're losing internet. Okay. So are we not live? No, that's live. What's the Oh yeah, so it looks like it cut out. I never restarted. Cool. It is back live. Back. All right, we are live now. Uh, so again, we don't really have any cool liquidation points up here. I guess we do up in the 59, 400. Oh yeah, it does look like it's starting to pull in here, especially up into the 59,800. So they might be building up some liquidation orders up there. And so we are in an area where we could pull those. Again, that's something we're going to go ahead and look at. We're going to go ahead and see if it makes it move. And if it does, we will actually probably at that point target the 60,100 area. Yeah. I mean, it's likely it could go up here, but sometimes I've seen it just get close because, you know, that's what it wants to do. So it does seem like it's starting to build in that direction. There is still possibilities of it dropping, and there's more evidence, more orders in that direction for them to do that. However, we are looking above. We do see some in that area. And let's just go down to the hour now. Like, what does the hour show us? What does the 4 hour show us first? Okay, we just made a move high up. Now, those are potentials for a quick drawdown or continuation, and again, right into this area. Now, if I am reading this kind of the way, a little different from the way I started to read this, but kind of along the same lines, that we are building buys here for another punch up. There is a lot of sales happening as well, though. I feel like they look like more buys, though. Let's take this down to the hour. See, I kind of think we might truck up into this little area. I mean, even if we only pull a little bit. Let's take a look at the 15. Took some buys. We hit some sells. We're starting to take some more buys. 15 is looking nice for buy situations. Those might be short-lived. That is why I think I won't take this trade. There's just a lot of, I'm like, but this is where we could actually punch this out of the park, right? What is the institutional traders doing? Like, look at this. We have some buys here, right? It starts pushing it up. No more buys, and then we do see some sales coming in. Another little buy, a little sell to bring it down. These little minor buys are pushing it up. Get a sell, bring it down, we take another buy. We have all these, like, it almost seems like they're buying some, letting it drop, buy some. Almost what it seems like. Okay. At least this is what it looks like in my mind. So we did break above a trend line. And maybe if I would have took the trade back when I started talking about it, we would be in a safety zone in this 20 to hit close to 300. We would need to have done it right around this area when we first started talking about it. Let's take a look at the 1 minute chart. What is the volume showing us here? Some test sales. Sales pushed it down. We have a couple test buys. We got some more sales dropping in. Do have more sales than buys, it looks like, or at least more quote unquote sell volume. You could see there is an overall trend starting to move upwards. All right. Sounds like my clothes are ready to be pulled. I'm going to go grab them real quick. We actually might have a different idea. So we're going to talk about this strategy. Strategy point number 1, overall strategies, trade along the trend. And maybe with our main account here, we will only take swing trades that are confirmed in moving in such direction because we're trading with bigger money, and that'll be okay. We can make our smaller money in this account and in our challenge account. Any of the big swing trades that we see, we can do here, and this will be the only trade along the trend. Now the thing that we're seeing here is we're starting to see this break above just like it did here. Now it might be short-lived, but it did break above. We are going to see the, what do we have here? Which one do we have here? We have the 9 getting ready to cross up, and then we will see if the 50 or 48 decides it wants to go ahead and break through as well. I think if it does at that point, we will probably see if it starts to fold over, see what the curve looks like. Once this does break into this area, does it look like this will continue to meet a curve even if it starts to swing just like this? We will have to take a look at some of these examples of what that looks like. But I mean, there's a good possibility that we do swing and we continue to swing up. I still think that that's a good possibility. I want to see some more confirmation of that before we actually take a trade. I mean, I think what would be a safe possibility right now is if we took a 50x and we took a trade into the 130, but I don't think we're going to go ahead and do that. I think that's a little risky right now. Especially with the Stotch RSI starting to move downwards. I think if we caught a cross here and we were at least within this same area about right here in the 33, and it looked like on the minute chart we were moving up, then I would probably call that good to go. I don't know why we're not seeing this countdown right now. There should be countdowns happening. Why aren't we? Okay, thank you. Thank you for showing me that and being off. Why was it off? Why was it off? And why did that? See? And again, we did punch into that. That is interesting. I know you guys seen that. I think I have to work with a bit on that. See if there's any improvements in its performance. But anyways, that is it. All the loves. Peace. I don't even know if we got through what we were talking about. Anyway, strategy number 1, along the trend, unless we're trading swing trades. I'm not very good at swing trades, but we are going to do that on the main account. I think on the main account, only trade along the trend for now. On this account, that's kind of part of our challenge, and you know, where we're learning, we'll go ahead and do the complicated, where it's along the trend for the most part. If it looks like we're in retracement, we'll go ahead and take the opposite trades, and we'll watch those very closely, and we'll trade only on the day. Like, I mean, we'll trade lower that, but like, if we're negative on that day, then we're taking the negative, right? Like, if it doesn't look like it's happening, we're gonna go by the day. Anyways, all the loves, peace. We'll check along tomorrow.